Hey Bill, getting ready to replace the kitchen faucet in the Arctic Fox. So I got the old one torn out and got the access panel opened up, and we're going to get at it. Um, Also, I'll show you what I do with the battery tray, and also the new toilet I installed, which was the porcelain one. I can't even remember the model, Aquaflush 2 or something, or it was something like that. But so yeah, that's all I'm doing this year. There's your old faucet, um, no name brand for RVs. It's actually very heavy. Um, the old ones, of course, had the half-inch leads, and then it had they just ran a piece of the double-ended half-inch PEX line from the feed to the faucet. The new one has 3/8, of course, so I'm gonna have some adapters onto the feeds, and then these hoses are long enough, should be long enough just to reach. So this is the same setup as the other one with the handle on top. This is the Moen Integra. So pretty much got this one for free with the credit on my supplier account. Just a couple bucks for tax, so that's the one that's going in. And this one is much lighter weight than the one from 15 years ago or whatever, which kind of sucks because I'm trying to get weight on the kitchen side of the camper because the slide outside is so heavy. So I'm removing about a half a pound from that side. So over here with the access open, there's my feeds. I took the one line off. The bottom feed from the tree there, that goes over to the outside shower. So right there, I'm gonna put on, I'm gonna take that other one off here, and then I'm gonna thread on 2 Brasscraft shutoffs, half-inch female thread to the 3/8 for the faucet. It's pretty tight in there, getting in there. I had a bugger of a time getting this thing out, reaching in there. Oh yeah, and then also the other thing I did, we talked about this, the Happy Jack board. I replaced all the fuses so that they were all brand new 20 amp. There was some mix matchers in there, so I replaced those. I just decided while I was in there, I'll just get 4 fresh ones in there. So we'll see. I don't know, maybe if the jacks, since you rebuilt some of those jacks, maybe we'll see if they all run, because 1 or 2 of them ran a little bit slower. So we'll see how that works. I'll let you know about that then. But yeah, new fuses in there. Not that I really needed them, but might as well. And then over here's the toilet and the wet bath. The bottom base of the new one, you can see where the old footprint is. The old one came out a little further. It was really tight in the back. Let me pull my vacuum out. Oh yeah, and then there's a little Milwaukee vacuum we carry, and there's a blower just to blow dirt out of the camper. And there's my buckets. The one is the water bucket with the hoses and filter, and the other one just has like the toilet paper and just some other personal items. But when we're traveling, we just pull the vacuum out to be able to use the bathroom, and then we definitely have enough space with a little bit of shelf there. But in behind here, I don't even think I can get to it, but the way that old water line came up, I actually had to snip some of the plastic out of the very back of the toilet to make everything fit so that the water line wouldn't get pinched. It was a real tight fit, but it was worth it, and it's a pretty nice toilet in there. Still got some chemicals in there. Yeah, so everything works good with that. And as far as the toilet goes, it did add a little bit of weight on this side too, and that's kind of the other thing I was after, trying to like load this thing better. Over here in the kitchen, I added some bungees, and I keep the camping chairs on this side. That's a little burner stove. I don't know if we'll carry that too much. That's just there for now, an outside burner, like regular stove burner thing. That's our outside table, and then our grill. Now when we get to destination, all this stuff goes under the dinette. So it's just unhook a couple things and move them around once we're where we need, because we don't really use the stovetop too much. So it is what it is. And then just to add a little bit of extra weight on this side, that's where we put the pie maker. Oh yeah. Oh, and then in the bathroom I had to do that. Put a piece of the Reflectix there. When I had replaced the original, this is the double. It has the inside like obscure globe, and then on the top side of the camper it has the second globe. And the original one was the tinted smoke, and that was cracked. And so then when I replaced it, I couldn't find the smoke. Nobody had it, because that was like, last year, and stock of everything sucked. So I had to get the clear, and it just lets in almost too much light, to the point where I just put that up there just, to keep all that light. At different times it works good, when it's cooler out, it lets more heat in. But yeah, so that's since I couldn't get the tinted one, that's kind of what we have to do, so it's not like, burn your eyes out when you walk in there to with all the bright light. And there's the battery compartment. I removed the sliding tray. I reused the tray, took everything off, and then I just I cut out 2 pieces of wood and polyurethane them, and really I just glued them to those side brackets with this glue I use for work. So I did that just so it has a little bit of a base to sit on. Wired up the new batteries. You can see I used the terminals there so I could put everything, put the cluster together a little better. But so yep, trickle charger, some other random stuff in here. So but the getting rid of the tray is nice, because now it didn't work anyway, so there it is. Okay, got the shut offs on. They were a pain in the butt to get them on. I got water hooked back up, so just pressure testing everything for now. I tightened up my nuts on the traps and the sink, and then I reached back in there to the outside shower, and that was a tough reach, but I hand tightened those connections up. I'm actually seeing a little drip over there. That ain't good. So it looks like I'm gonna have to probably take that apart then. Great, another project. So I'm gonna have to investigate that a little bit. So yeah, I got a little drip there. You can see it right. There's that black fitting on the left, and then right to the right, that's where it goes into the faucet. You can see that little drip right underneath there. So I'm gonna have to check that out. Son of a bitch. Yep, gonna have to pull it out. I wiped the water up, wiped the drip out, then I went outside, turned the faucet on, and I think honestly, because they're down in the bottom here, there was like some little, looked like there were some old wet areas, and I wonder it probably didn't leak much when the water pump was on, just because of having less pressure. Probably with higher pressure, and then, you know, just getting the back pressure from that. But kind of glad I caught that. I think I should be able to maybe pull that apart and retighten those fittings, and there's probably no pipe dope in there. Maybe there's like an old washer in there that dried out, but they probably, you know, manufacturer, they just screw the stuff together and call it a day. So I guess that's gonna be my next project after I finish this one. So there's an old, everybody has their own little slogan for when the shit hits the fan. You know, most people say, sometimes you get the bear, sometimes the bear gets you. Mine is typically, if it's gonna happen, it's gonna hurt. Because I got a little bit of drippage there from the hot water heater connection. It's not from me touching the pipes. I just think that it's just an old connection. It did tighten up by hand. I did use my channel locks just to snug it up a little bit more. So I'm not seeing any more drips there. Still getting a drip back there, just a tiny one. So I'm definitely gonna have to pull that out. Kind of ticks me off. I got a paper towel underneath here where my shut-offs are. Just double checking all that. The other problem I'm having is the hose for the faucet. Let me get this threaded on here real quick. The weight for the hose, it's just a loose weight. It doesn't have, so, you know, it's designed to hang down in a regular residential cabinet, so it would be hanging there. By the time, usually these things clamp on. The old one had a little screw. So, and by the time I clamp the hose up to where the faucet needs to be, that'll be sitting on the floor, and it won't create any pressure to hold the faucet up. So what I'm going to have to do, and then I tried the weight from the old faucet, which was just a little bit too loose. So I'm going to keep that weight on, and then below it I'm going to use the old weight, but I'm going to have to wrap the hose a bunch of times with some tape so that I can get the smaller one screwed into place and get it tight. So gonna have to do just a little rig job. I don't understand why the hell they would do that. Any weight I've ever installed for a kitchen faucet hose like this is always tight, and you always kind of like clamp them on so that you can get them clamped at a good position to where you want it to be. And this, you know, this is Moen and Delta and all these big companies. They come up with all these bullshit solutions, you know, to cheapen everything up and make it easy, you know, all across the board. And typically in somebody's house, I wouldn't even want that to install that. You know, I do this for a living. It's just stupid. Stupid. I had called Moen last fall, like in October, and I gave them the riot act on their new cartridges for their shower valves. And I told them how stupid they were then, and I'm telling them that they're stupid now. That's just a dumb design. You know, this faucet isn't for a camper. However, I wouldn't want to do that weight in a regular height cabinet like that. I just think that that's dumb. So that's just me though, you know. And it doesn't help that I'm already kind of ticked off it. Now I got to open up my outside faucet, but glad I'm catching all this stuff now. So whatevs. There you go. Now I wrapped foil tape around the hose, clamp that on tight. That's the old one. Just wrapped a little bit below it. That way if it ever slips, it'll just kind of bottom out there. Got my loose weight up above it. This is about exactly how the old one sat. So there you go. Now my new faucet that is lighter weight weighs as much as my old one, since I have 19 pounds of weight there. And then you know, that kind of holds it down there nice and tight. When you lift that up, it kind of rides up that foam, but it's pretty much staying put. So that's about how the old one was. You know, whatever. That's the things you got to do to make stuff work. So let me stand up here. Ooh. I don't particularly care for this faucet that much. It is kind of low. I mean, you know, it's for a kitchen sink, and you're going to have a deeper sink, and there's going to be more room. In my house, I had just recently redid the kitchen, and I installed the Moen Sleek, which is a high-rise faucet, and then it has the handle on the side. And I know I've seen a lot of people putting that in RVs. I think some of the manufacturers are doing it. I don't like those in an RV. I prefer to have the handle on top. When you have them on the side like that, and you're going down the road and you get all the vibrations, those handles can tip out and open up. And you know, let's just say you stop for a bathroom break and you forgot to turn off your water pump, and then you get a vibration or something falls, opens up that faucet, then you got a problem. You got a big problem. So like I said, I don't care for these faucets, but I would rather have the handle on top, gravity, you know, and then from there, the only thing that could go wrong, obviously, with any faucet, you get a cat or an animal that maybe opens it up or something like that, but I'd rather have it on top. The side ones I like more, but they just, to me, they spell a little bit of trouble for a camper. So, you know, that's what we got. I think it's still about the same height as the old one. I think the old one actually might have sat up a little bit higher, but at least we can get that out of the way, you know, when we're doing stuff. But there again, we don't use a sink all that much. We use a lot of paper plates and this and that and the other, so there's minimal washing. It's good enough. I mean, you know, it pulls out kind of far, and then it gets stuck because the goddamn ball down in there is just going to be annoying. So there you go. Although I don't think we'd ever really need to pull it out that far, so that's about as far as we need to pull it out. But and yeah, so there's a problem there, is the ball. When you pull it out too far, the ball gets caught up on top of that hot water heater. So maybe I should, it's just too loose. I'd almost have to put another weight on there, or else jam some stuff down inside of there to keep it, you know, whatever. when that access board's on here, if I have to, and it's on top of that heater, I can still reach in there and knock it down. Whatever. At the end of the day, it's a mowing faucet. And so the old one was leaking at the handle here. And it was an RV faucet. There's no way I was going to find a cartridge for it. Might as well just replace it. Mowing, you know, when you have a bad cartridge, you call them. They have one mailed out to you in like 2-3 days. And, you know, so they're going to service this fixture for as long as I have this camper. You know, it is what it is. So, you know, and with campers, you get bad water, sometimes dirty water. It comes up those cartridges. So it is what it is, you know. But I did the mowing. You know, mowing and Delta are pretty good with sending out cartridges, parts, this, that, the other. So that's what we got. And like I said, it was for the cost of free. Just had a credit on my account. And you know, so really just paid like the $20 of sales tax or whatever. So there you have it. Get this water hooked up, test the sink, and then I got to pull out that other faucet. So all right, so far getting water. Here's the sprayer mode. Everything's looking good. Not really seeing any drips down here. Nothing down there. Got the hot water heater on, getting that cranked up and hot, just so I can get some hot water run through the hot side. Make sure that that top connection ain't dripping. I tightened both of them up. You know, I think in the back at that I know that shouldn't be dripping, but I did notice that when you turn on that outside hose faucet, I got a rag up in there for now. When you shut that off, I mean, it's a lot of pressure going to that. I think it's like just like a lot of back pressure, and I just think that if there's a rubber washer inside there or whatever they did, just maybe over time it just dry rotted out or something worked loose a little bit on that valve body connection. And I think that just with all that back pressure when you shut it off, because when you turn that faucet on, the button is there, the stop button on the wand, so it automatically jumps a lot of pressure to it. It's probably why it's leaking. It just like a seal failed from all the pressure that gets to it. So yeah, I might end up having to just buy a new one, so we'll see. But so right now I'm not seeing any drips. I'm gonna monitor this for a while, make sure everything's going good, and then I'm gonna pull apart that outside faucet. So there's the outside shower. Got the screws out. I started scraping some of this caulk out. I've already come to the realization that there will be no way I feel to get this pried out without breaking it. It's old and brittle. So I think I'm gonna look for the replacement. I can still pull it out in the meantime. I might just wait. I might wait, make sure I can get the new one. You know, because if, say, I can't get one right away, then I can unhook the lines back from the tree where I added the shutoffs for the sink, and I can cap them and just kind of like eliminate this thing for now. Don't really use it much anyway, but so yeah, I think I'm just going to order a new one. I know that with that butyl tape in behind there and trying to pry this sucker out, I can see how there's like little checking in there, just little cracks because it's old, it's brittle. I would be surprised if I get that out in one piece. So I found one online, $70, but it's the same one. It's an Atwood. I can get one on Amazon. So I'm just gonna wait to pull that faucet apart. Um, Once I get the new one, that way I can double check all the measurements. But yeah, I'm just gonna replace the whole thing. Um, Once I get it, I'll check. I'll probably replace the feed lines on the tree here, on the tree inside here. That's the outgoing lines over to there. So I think what I'll probably do is I'll add 2 shutoffs there. That way, when I install the new one, if there's any issues in the future, I can just shut off right here. But yeah, like I said, I'll probably get fresh new lines, or if I keep the lines, I'll add new um, of the washers on the inside there. So that way, once I'm back in there, it's all new, and I don't have to. It's a bitch reaching back in there. I mean, it makes you cry a little bit reaching back in there. It sucks. It really does. Like trying to get your arm in through this cabinet door. I kind of almost wish that I wish that they would think about stuff like this, like this rail here. I mean, if they staple all this together, just make it removable. You know, get just get some like pocket screws in here, and then and make it so you can take the drawers out and get that rail out without bitching everything up, and then you can reach back in there easier to service stuff. You know, I mean, just make it easier for the dealer or whoever's working on it. You know, but it is what it is. You know. Um, Also, this thing here, it's just stapled in from behind. It doesn't do anything. I mean, like right now, I have like a first aid kit slid down in there that I put in there. But yeah, like they could recess that and you could have a little bit more room. But this is an older model. I think on the newer ones they've thought of that kind of stuff for improvements. But all in all, everything's good on this right now except for that outside shower. So yeah, just check all your connections. I check them all the time. I was checking them last year. Although I wasn't really checking the hot water heater connections or the outside shower, but I would reach in there and feel around. So yeah, I mean, now I know I just have to spend the extra time and a couple times a year take out that panel there so I can check everything out, take the drawers out so I can check everything, you know, just things that you have to be able to do on your own, when you have these things. A lot of people don't. They don't know how to do the work. They buy these things and then they have bad leaks and then they blame it on the manufacturer, the dealer, whoever. But you got to be willing to do a lot of this stuff on your own. But so yeah, it looks like I'll order up Atwood outside shower and get that hooked up. So probably have a follow-up video. I want to get this done so we can get out on the road. We're trying to get a shakedown trip done. Got a couple places in mind. Just something close by, about 30-40 minutes away. Nothing major, but want to get a shakedown trip done. We have 2 trips planned later on in the year. One of them is a truck camper rally, and then also Knoebels campground. So that'll be fun. But in the meantime, we're trying to get on some other kind of like road trips. We were all over the place last year. Didn't really do any videos. When we were at Chicoteague, I started to film videos, but I was just like, yeah, I don't want to. So I just deleted all that. Plus, last year was the first year we were like back on the road in a long time, like after keeping a camper permanent for so long. So this kind of a little stressful in a way, just like being back out on the road and just getting used to it again. So filming videos just wasn't in my wheelhouse last year. So, but yeah, probably do some more, make some videos this year. Um, and so, yeah, and we're looking to try to get up to northern PA in Bradford. So, my wife, she'll like find all these stupid little articles like on, I don't know, like Facebook or the internet, just about like she'll find these articles. I forget what news site it is, but they'll kind of like do like little spotlights on like little restaurants or old towns or like iconic type of restaurants or pizza shops or destinations, and she'll find a bunch about like these diners and restaurants and stuff like that. And so she found one, it was an article about a pizza shop in Bradford, PA, and it's kind of like this 1980s vibe. And then they also have an arcade that they own right next door. And so, yeah, that's the kind of stuff we look at and say, hey, that's pretty cool. It's just a stupid pizza shop out in the middle of nowhere, but yeah, we want to go there. And so that's kind of like part of in our itinerary of what we're trying to figure out. And so what we'll do is like we'll take a road trip to Bradford, and that'll be the first stop. And we'll figure out, okay, we'll leave on a Friday, stay somewhere along the way, and we'll get there Saturday and hit up the arcade, the pizza shop, and hang out. And then after that, we'll figure it out. And so that's kind of some of the stuff we like to do, is just the figuring out part, and see what happens. So that'll probably be one of our trips that should be pretty fun. And there was a couple other ones that we looked at, that were similar. There was one old school diner that looked really fun. I can't even remember where it was at. She found so many of them. So, but yeah, that's kind of like the cheesy stuff we like to do for like when we're doing the road trip thing. But those are fun because you can just kind of get around. Like we did a really nice loop trip and did the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and the Christmas Story House and the Lucille Ball Museum. So that was, kind of just one of those trips to like nerd out on. So, but yeah, so that's it for now. Next video, I'll probably film some of my pain dealing with the outside faucet. So, anyway, that's where I'm at with the old Arctic Fox.